you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to do some favourites for you. And I'm realising that this is a favourite. I'm actually going to have to pop along to Asda and have a look what other candles they've got, because I've used quite a lot of it. I think there's only two. Oh, there's actually only one flame at the minute, which is funny because I was considering blowing it out because it's so strong. So it shows you how good it is. It's a kind of gingerbread smell, and yeah, it's really lovely, and they're really inexpensive candles at Asda. Anyway, I have got some favourites for you. I've got some hair, a couple of skincare and a couple of makeup items, and I am sitting comfortably in my living room. I was going to do it in the kitchen, but there are men out in our courtyard cleaning the outside of the building, and so I didn't want them peering in. That would really put me off. So let me start with hair care. I have got two things. One you'll have seen recently. This heat shield is Frizz Control Heat Protecting Spray. And yeah, I've just found it to be really good. You can see I've used quite a bit of it now. I've bought so many hair items lately, hair products, that if I'm using something and it's going down, that really shows that it's a good product. I've just found that this holds my curls, and that's nothing that it says it does. It says it's Frizz Control Maximum Style without the damage for diffusing, curling, air wrapping and straightening. So I don't know whether it's protected from the heat, but it certainly does help hold the curls in, or I should say helps hold a wave in, because the curls still drop, but it just holds it in for longer. I don't know about the Frizz Control bit. I haven't noticed anything being amazingly better lately, and I feel like I've always got frizzy hair. I've been loving this. This is the Aussie Overnight Moisture. I hope that this is still available. It's the Sleep-In Serum, and again, you can see how much I've used of this. It's just really nice to put something in your hair at the end of the day. I do it when I'm doing my skincare routine. I've got my skincare bag in here in the living room, and so I sit and do all of my skincare, and then I just threw this in and to remind me to put some on the ends of my hair. But I can run this through my hair and it's just disappeared in the morning, which firstly is great because you don't want, you know, greasy hair the next day, but secondly makes me think, well, my hair must need it, because it just kind of was like, you know, sucked it all up. So I've been loving that. Oh, the other hair care thing is this. This is probably the most expensive thing I'm going to talk about. It's the GHD Duet style. It's their straightener and blow dryer in one. So I dry my hair to, if I'm wanting it straight, I dry it to about 80% dry, and then pin it in sections and dry with this. And I just love it. It means you don't need to use a straightener afterwards. This feels like it's causing less damage. This holds the style in for longer. It looks really nice. My walker mentioned that it looked almost like it had a bit of volume in it, as well as being really straight. So I do really love my GHD Duet, and I've been using it a lot more lately. On to skincare. I've got 3 items of skincare. One is new, and it's this. It's called Habi, and it is Sunny Shield SPF 40. So with allantoin and vitamin E. So it's an SPF. But I love the tube. I love when they come out in a pump dispenser. I've just been really enjoying this. It's really nice and moisturising. It's cruelty free. It was on. Was it on the shelf in Boots, or did I order it online? No, it was on the shelf. It was on the shelf, but it was £7, and I thought, that's a really reasonable price for an SPF. You know, I'm always looking for something that is a bit more reasonably priced, because a lot of the ones I review are like £30, you know, so £7 for that, really, really good. Is that 50ml? Yeah, 50ml. So I don't know whether it's too late. We're now getting into autumn to do another SPF review, although I've still got a few on my list, haven't I? But I've been loving that. Great anti-makeup, you know, yada, yada. The ingredients are, it's got avobenzone in it and things like that, but as a product, I'm really enjoying it. Then this is the Resveratrol and Ferrulic acid. I've repurchased this so many times over the years, which shows you how much of a favourite it is, because I love trying new things and don't often stick to things, you know. So when I do stick to things, it means they're really good. And I thought I would try and use this and see if I could leave off moisturiser and how my skin felt. And it felt really nice, I have to say. There was ever such a slight feeling of dryness, and I don't know whether I would do that every night. I've been using it at night. I know you can use it in the day, and it's recommended to use resveratrol and ferulic acid underneath your sunscreen, but I have done that and it's been fine. I feel better using it in the evening. I'm not sure why. Anyway, it feels like using an oil, but it's not as greasy as an oil, and it just sinks in lovely. And I've really been enjoying this. And so I still love this years and years and years later. I still love this resveratrol and ferulic acid. And I think I mentioned in another video, resveratrol is a really interesting anti-aging ingredient that's being talked about at the moment. And there's some research as well. I'm not sure these earrings go, you know, but I just wanted something sparkly. I just fancied something sparkly. And, you know, I don't ever put sparkly eyeshadow on anymore. And I thought, oh, I'll just wear some sparkly earrings, whether it goes or not. The final skincare item to talk about is this. This is by a brand called SVR. And this is the Anti-Itching Soothing Care Eye Cream. I didn't read everything about this when I bought it. I was just like, oh, eye cream. I was interested in trying eye creams, and so I ordered it. But it's actually an eye cream for people with eczema. But I like that idea because that means that it's normally gentle. It's normally not got any perfume in it, but it's normally quite, you know, it's got something that's really moisturising. And so I was excited to try it. And I have really enjoyed this. Again, you can see how much I've used. And if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I don't really do eye creams. I very rarely use them. When I do, I'm kind of like, oh, they're not really adding much. And so I don't end up, I feel like it's an extra step. But I've used this specifically in the morning. I do my makeup and then I remove my makeup, you know, any fallout under here and any foundation. And then I go in with my concealer. Then I go in with an eye cream and then I leave the eye cream on for a little while and then I go in with my concealer and powder, etc. Now, the other two eye creams that I was using, one of them was by Versed and one of them was the No. 7 one that I do really like. But both of those were pilling when I was putting my concealer on. No matter how long I left them, whether I did it immediately or I left it a while, they were pilling. And it didn't matter which concealer I used either. This one doesn't pill at all. And so it's just really, really nice to use under concealer. So I've really enjoyed that and it's nice and hydrating. So I can see me repurchasing that actually because I don't think I've got any other eye creams to try anyway. Just makeup left and I have got 4 items. I thought I had more than that. Oh yeah, 5. I've got 5 items. One of them I showed you recently and this is a new item. It's the Anastasia Bronze. What's this called? Smooth Blur Bronze. And yeah, I've been using this for the past couple of weeks. I got it in Warm Sand Vibes. That's the colour I got it in and that's what it looks like. It's just so beautiful. The packaging is heavy. I mentioned that to you before. And normally that would put me off, but it just feels so, this packaging is so lovely. It feels so expensive. It's so nice. I'm surprised I've not made a dent in that. What is it? An embossed butterfly or something in there. Because like I said, I've been using it every day with a small brush, just sort of, you know, really concentrated on my face. And I really like it. It's just a pretty good colour for me. Now, if I had to choose, I would probably prefer a liquid bronzer to this. I feel like it just looks more natural or maybe it's just easier for me to apply. I don't know, but I would have to say a liquid bronzer is my preference in the look. But I prefer using powder products because I feel like liquid bronzers can be messier, you know. But sometimes with powder, God, I'm not making sense, am I? I'm saying it's easier to apply, it's not easier to apply. I think it's easier to make a liquid bronzer look natural on me. I find when I use a powder bronzer, sometimes I look in the mirror and it's a bit too, I can even see it there, it's a bit too stripy. Do you know what I mean? Whereas with the liquid one, it doesn't ever seem to do that. But I love this. I really love this. I would highly recommend it. It's lovely. It goes on really lovely and smooth. It's, you know, don't get too much pigment from it. You don't have to build it up too much. It's a nice colour. It lasts on me because I loved the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Bronzer, but it never ever lasted on me. It went patchy. There used to be like little patches here and it looked terrible. So love that Anastasia bronzer. I'll tell you about the other kind of inexpensive one. And then the next 3 are drugstore ones. This is the Danessa Myricks Colour Fix Nudes. I think these are new out. So it is just an eye base and there's all different nude colours. So it's an eye primer. Now I've used this every day for weeks and you need the tiniest amount. I will put a little bit on here. Excuse the state of my nails and hands, by the way. I did actually do my nails and it's now started chipping off. I don't know why it does that. Do you know, it does it when I've got short nails. It starts chipping off like a day after I've done it. And I know that my nails are very short, but obviously with this finger, I'm just waiting until this is healed. And I now have an infection in this, unfortunately. So I'm waiting for a text from the GP has sent antibiotics to the chemist, and I'm waiting for the chemist to let me know to go and pick them up. That's what this one looks like. What colour did I get? Nude 1 I got. I think there is, Oh, there is a zero. Remember, I got white. I actually showed you this and said that I liked it, and I was thinking of getting the nude colour. So anyway, I have been using this for weeks, and I have tried it with lots of different eyeshadows, and I have found that it works for some of them, but not all. I can't say this is the be-all, end-all of eye primers. It doesn't make all of my eyeshadows stay, but most of them it does. So it's not the best eye primer I've ever used, but I just really like the colour. It's really, really pigmented. So if you're looking for something super pigmented, you might like it. I wish almost it was a little bit less pigmented because I can't put any less on my hand and I'm always left with extra. Like I put a tiny little dot on my finger and go over both eyes like that, or a tiny little bit on the brush, and I have to go up into my crease, and I don't normally put eye primer there. But yeah, I just think it's lovely that they've got some nude colours out, and I'm really enjoying that. Then my three little staple items, but one of them I've been using for months and the other two are kind of fairly new. This one here is the Revolution. It's just a brow pencil, and I bought it in light brown, and I seem to remember that I bought these before and I was in a huff because there was no colour on it. But I realised what I did. When there's a spoolie on the other end, I always take the cap to the spoolie off and throw it away because I don't feel like I need to cover it. You know, this never gets that dirty that I need to cover it in my makeup bag. But I think what I did was I took the wrong end and threw it away, because I'm realising now it says on the cap. Now, it'd be much easier if it said on here, because I had bought a couple of colours before and I was like, well, what's the point in using them if I don't know the colours? Anyway, this one I got is light brown. I'll put it on my hand and show you. But it's actually, I feel like it's too dark for me. I've been really enjoying it using lighter colours on my brows. And that, for a light brown, is pretty dark, and there isn't a colour above that, so that's the lightest you can go. But other than that, it's a really, really good pencil. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it for every day, because what does it matter? It's not like black, you know what I mean? Although, funny enough, my dad once said to me, I was talking about Eve, his wife, wanted to get her brows done, and she said, oh, your dad's not sure. And I said to Dad, what's your problem with it? And he said, well, do they have to get them done black like yours? And I was like, black? I was like, I'm not wearing black. And he's like, well, you know, really, really dark. And maybe that's why I'm trying lighter colours. Maybe what Dad said eventually sunk in. And I think I was probably wearing colours that were too dark, but I think he meant too fierce or sharp. You know, he wanted something more natural looking, I guess is what he meant. But actually she couldn't. I asked the girl that was doing my top up for brow blading, and she said that Eve couldn't have it because of heart problems or something. I can't remember. There was something that precluded her. Anyway, the next item I think is really interesting, because this is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Felt Pen. And I have been using this every single day for months, actually. At least a couple of months. Does it look the same colour as that one? It's that one there. However, I've not been using it on my brow. I've been using it under my eye. This is just the perfect colour to go under my eye. And today I've got eyeshadow on because I had gone around and looked at all of what I was using and picked out my favourites to see if I had enough for a video, and put them all on the dining room table because I was going to be filming in there. And so I didn't have this to use today. So this morning I've used eyeshadow, which I think looks okay now, but the eyeshadow tends to smudge on me, or it doesn't look as crisp as I'd like. Now, I don't want it to look like, you know, really crisp. Like, I don't want to use a thick felt liner, and a lot of the eyeliners you get, because I was looking for an eyeliner in a light brown, could not find one anywhere, because that's what I wanted. I thought, I want an eyeliner felt tip pen in light brown and that will work, but I couldn't find one. I found a dark brown one from Stila, and that was that, and I didn't want it that dark, I just wanted it light. So I've been using this, and it's absolutely brilliant because it's a brow pen. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't move. I haven't been able to use it as a brow pen. It just, I don't know why, it just doesn't, when I put it on my brows, not enough colour comes out. But it's brilliant under my eyes. So love that, absolutely love that. So if you're looking for something similar, it might be worth a go. The final item is just, this is one of the cheapest things I own, I think. And I noticed that the lid is actually cracked. And I think it's because I'm, you know me, clumsy. I probably twist it too tight to do it up. But this is the Collection Fast Stroke Long Wear Liquid Eyeliner, up to 14-hour wear. I've been wearing this for at least a year. I definitely showed this to you. I did a collection makeup haul, didn't I? And talked about this. You can get this one in waterproof as well. This is not the waterproof one. I don't see much difference between them. I've used both of them, don't see much difference between them. But this one, it's a lovely thick black line. It's matte, so it's not shiny. It's a lovely thin brush. Try not to get anything on the sofa there. Really lovely thin brush. It's like a paintbrush rather than a felt tip pen. It's not so liquid that it goes into your eyes. I found that sometimes with liquid eyeliners. It doesn't smudge. I don't need to go over it loads of time to get any pigment. I can't say enough good things about this. And like I said, it's one of the cheapest pieces of makeup I own. And I was actually panicking thinking when I saw that this was split, I was like, oh my God, have I got another one of these? Do they still do it? Because, you know, I used to love the mascara from Collection and then they stopped doing it. So I must remember next time I'm in Boots. I could even send Kevin to get one today because he's near Boots. But I love it. And this is what I use for the eye. I don't use it for the wing. I haven't actually tried it, I don't think. Or maybe I should try it and see. Because that would be, you know how I want to reduce things in my life. That would be good to just have one eyeliner. This morning, again, for the same reason as I was saying before, I didn't use this. I don't know whether I just said that I did, but I didn't use this because this was in my little favourites pile. So I used a Kiko felt pen that I've got, and that was absolutely fine. But I find with that, I do have to go over twice, over eyeshadow, because you can kind of see through it, you know. Other than that, it's absolutely fine. But this is just lovely. So love that. And is that everything? It is. That is everything. Those are all my favourites, things that I've been loving lately. A couple of new and a couple of old. I am wearing this. This is not a favourite. This is Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. It's just a mini. And I also got Pillow Talk Fair, but I didn't realise that the Pillow Talk in Fair was not matte. Like I was testing the colours. I was going through all my lipsticks and testing colours, and I was like, oh, didn't realise that was not glossy, but it's more of a satin, you know. But this is Pillow Talk I've got on today, and I don't love it. I like the bare lips look. I've always kind of liked that. But it's never like my lip colour because I put the foundation over, so it always looks a bit pale. And I know that other people will think that, you know, if ever I've done a video and I've not put my lipstick on, I'm like, I'll watch it back and think people will be like, you look way too pale. And it's true. It definitely brightens up my face putting on a bit of lipstick, but I don't know. I guess it's just what I'm used to. Right, my Watson will be home soon, so I will love you and leave you. Thank you very much for watching. I'm trying to think, can I even remember what I've got on? Yeah, I've got on the Anastasia foundation that I was telling you about that I still don't know the name of. I think it might be Luminous Matte, but I'm not sure if that's the Huda one. So I know that I've got the Anastasia one on, and I found it too cakey, but I've been putting it on with a beauty blender, because I normally use a brush for foundations nowadays just to keep on dampening the beauty blender, you know. So yeah, I put it on with a beauty blender, and I think it's much nicer. It's much more, I can't say natural looking, but it's not as cakey using the beauty blender. So that's my foundation. On my eyes, I used, it's Natasha Denona, but you know, now I've mixed them all up. I don't know what colours they are, but it's a Natasha Denona colour. I've told you what's on my lips, and on my cheeks is my usual Suqqu blush in 04, I think. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.